Panelist, I'd like to introduce Camilo, the Director of Banca de Inversión. Camilo, welcome. And when we talk to investors, potential small enterprises, we face what I mentioned, the toughest challenge is asymmetry of interest. On one hand, people want $10, $20 million deals or more. And on the other hand, I'm talking about 50,000, 500,000 that really would make a huge difference. To what extent have you faced this issue, and what are some of the solutions that you're implementing with the Banca Sostenible to address it?
Thank you, Jamie, and thank you all for staying on the last panel. I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about me and what we're doing at the Banca de Inversión Sostenible, because it's our first year of operations, and I hope in 20 years we can have a lot of great stories like you, Tammy. And our story is that we, after some years of advising entrepreneurs, we decided to walk the road of entrepreneurship. And we decided to start these companies, not only that work on deforestation, but work on regenerative economy. Really putting money on growing new trees, growing new forests. And after building up some companies that were successful and having successful exits on these companies, we decided to build what is now Sustainable Investment Bank for the Pacific Alliance. We work in Mexico, Colombia, Peru, and Chile, which we believe is the most important hub nowadays for Latin America. To others, the question, I mean, first, what we encountered was that when we talk about investment, we have to differentiate from funding and investment. People don't really understand the difference, and when we work with local-based communities, they still are looking for grants and funding. So really to close the gap between language and management skills is the first solution. I mean, training, what SDX does, what Solidaridad does, is something that we're doing. Working hand in hand with local communities and with enterprises and startups on training and teaching them about multi-capitalism, about integrated reporting, about all of these languages that for us is everyday languages, but for them is so new. The second thing is that finance is not only what they need. Access to capital is not the only thing. We really go hand in hand as consultants and team up to structure these deals, to be part of their boards, and not only work through debt, but also as equity, and to solve these big deals that investors are looking for. What we do is build up portfolios. So we aggregate demand and we mix. We have a mix of projects in which we have, for example, 5 million acre between Ecuador and Colombia, producing 40,000 tons of carbon, capturing carbon, but also working with local communities in Chiapas that are producing honey, and that 50% of their profit they invested back in forest planting. You know, so it's really creating portfolios that are innovative and manage risk for big investors. And the third thing that we do is create markets and circuits of trade. I work as an agency. And this is where I really want to, as we call it in the social innovation ecosystem, the aha moment, probably that we're looking for, and a signal that Adriana is looking for. We've partnered with people that are working with carbon-backed crypto assets. So it's a new way of approaching also what money is and what value is. Not expecting that the big philanthropist or the big investor puts the $20 million for investment into deals, but decentralizing through blockchain, through cryptocurrencies, the way citizens can invest their money, and crowd investing into these deals, and working and really trying to be revolutionary on how to create these markets. Nowadays, carbon tax has really accelerated the possibility for having fixed rents on these deals. In Colombia, last year we had $4 per carbon ton. Nowadays it's 25. Next year, Mexico is going to be launching their carbon trade ecosystem, and what we're doing is really aggregating the demand on these opportunities in Latin America. This is basically how we are solving this tension between having $20 million for one deal and then having just small farmers looking for 200K and not really having never pitched to an investor.
Great, very exciting news, congratulations. I'm going to just to wrap up before we open it up to questions. You have one wish, one sentence you'd like to see and ask the university to help you do your work better. Just go around one sentence, one wish. What do you need? What needs to happen? Didn't mean to put you on the spot for that.
Well, we're developing, as I said before, a new instruments, and we're working a lot with blended finance. Blended finance is really accelerating how to close that gap of $3 trillion US needed to achieve the SDGs. But we need to use that money correctly and to scale the opportunity to bring down the private sector on the investments. So what happens, for example, in Colombia is that you have a really big fund to do blended finance. That in the way it's structured, you see that the investment go to the 10% of the people who own 40% of the land, because they are the ones who can structure these big deals. And the cost of transaction for governments and international cooperation to do blended finance, to do these funds, is too high. And this is why we, I guess, are trying to close that gap.
So your wish is a little bit of blended finance to close the gap?
Yes.